Yo, what's up, guys? I know what you're thinking. Oh, where you been at? Where you been? It's been 2 weeks. Why take so long to come back, my G? We've been waiting. Um, Long story short, I've been recording the footage for this very video. And know what you may be thinking, but this is just a DLC boss ranking. How it take you this long? Are you just that bad at the game? No, these DLC bosses are just, well, neon back in your eyes. But the point is, these DLC bosses are rough. Okay, these DLC bosses are very rough and not easy. But anyways, hope you guys enjoy this ranking. If you guys want to see a little compilation of all my rages, let me know, cause this was rough. A lot of these bosses were harder than others, but this is all my personal opinion. So if you think a boss should be higher, no, tell me your personal ranking in the comments if that's what you want. But yeah, let's get straight into it. No more wasting time. We're starting with a bonus fight. The secret devil, angel boss fight. Um, I don't have that much to say about this fight. It's very simple mechanically, but hard in execution. Honestly, like eventually you figure it out, but especially when you first play it, because you can switch to Miss Chalice. You do it either Cuphead or Mugman. It is a lot harder, and even with Miss Chalice, the mechanics still get you sometimes. But yeah, this is a very interesting fight. This and all the King's Court will go into the same category. It's just that I consider this more of a boss because of the importance of the story. With Devil and Angel, there's so many theories on this, but I'm not going to get into it. But I really like the aesthetic, and the music is also very mysterious and fits into the whole, vibe of the fight. But let's get into the real rankings now. This wasn't that hard. Okay, the Moonshine Mob. The first boss I ever played in this DLC was a Moonshine Mob. Now, you may be wondering, how are they, your bottom boss? How are they the easiest boss for you? Like, how is it not, this other boss or this boss or this boss? The point is, this is a personal ranking, and I personally found the Moonshine Mob the easiest out of the new boss on expert. On expert, I must preface this. This is on the expert difficulty. And that greatly changed my rankings. If this is normal, I would probably put. I'm not gonna reveal my first option yet, but I would put someone else at basically, the easiest boss if this is normal. But because this is expert, they are the easiest, not because they are necessarily easy. The other ones are just so much harder. To be put lightly, their first phase is pretty simple, with all the spider running around, just activating certain things. Second phase is definitely the easiest. The third phase can be a bit of a challenge with the anteater, with the stupid uh, bug balls. Don't at me on that. But yeah, it's not that bad. And the fake knockout screen is pretty cute. It's really cool. You love to see it. And not that much to say about the fight. I mean, it was entertaining. I love the music. It probably is one of my favorite music in the DLC. But all the DLC music is good in some way. So, on to the next one, I guess. No more wasting time. Also, if you guys don't want to see me, my, skill, my intense skill, beating this boss, you can always just skip to the time. What was it? 525? Yeah, it was 525. That is where I move on to the next boss in the ranking if you don't want to see my immense skill. So there you go. I'll see you there. Okay, we have Glumstone the giant. Yeah, Glumstone the giant. Okay, this is an interesting fight right here because you guys may be wondering, hey, how's the Moonshine Mob easier than Glumstone? He's the easiest boss in the DLC. I beat him first try. Oh my gosh, he was like not even hard. Shut up. Okay, this first phase gave me so many problems, and despite for judging me or not, or just laughing at how long it took me, we're moving on. This first phase is rough. Everything from the geese, you have to go down because when the platform raises up, you have to go down, and if you don't move fast enough, the gnomes will get you. And better yet, if he has the bear, you have to go all the way over. I usually use the jump at the very edge and his dash to try to stay in the air long enough till the bear gets thrown away. But even the cauldron can be problematic sometimes. So all the freaking gnomes that spawn, I'm just consistently changing from the crack shot to the roundabout because I want to get this first shot out the way still. Because I don't want to stay here forever, so I'm switching to roundabout for damage. But my goodness, I still gotta take care of the gnomes. The crack shots, I gotta keep switching back and forth while trying to dodge, and the platform is moving. You see how this is a lot? Like, this is a lot. But this boss, second phase is not that bad, and the third phase is a cakewalk. So it's really the first phase. I feel like I could never get through the first phase without at least taking one damage, like one hit. And the second phase can be kind of tricky sometimes, but it's way easier than this. Like I said, in my personal rankings, I think I'll agree with the rest of the list a bit more. This is the only pick where it's like, okay, I see where some people would disagree. But on to the next one. Okay, the next boss on this list is the Howling Aces. Now I know what you're thinking. This one actually makes a lot more sense to be placed here. I personally find them to be pretty difficult. Not the hardest boss in the DLC, but very difficult, which we'll get into why in a minute. First phase, not that bad. I personally prefer using the crack shot and the charge shot. Charge shot is the hit him when he's standing still and is playing, just trying to move around. You can get some pretty good damage in. The crack shot to take care of the fire hydrants mainly. That's the main reason, and for later in the boss. When I really want to focus on dodging, I don't really want to think about, trying to land my shots. But the first phase, the big gimmick of this fight is the plane will move from side to side. Whatever part you're standing on, it'll move. The plane you're standing on will physically move. And that can really mess you up sometimes because you could go right into an attack, or you could be too close to the bulldog and he'll just literally spawn on you. So you kind of have to want to keep it in the middle, but still dodge everything that's going on screen. You have fire hydrants that are shot out by the big dog ship. You have tennis balls that are thrown out by the mini dogs, and you even have the bulldog's own attacks with a yarn, which is you can just duck under. And then there's the bones, which some of them are parryable, but they're very easy to miss the parries, even because you can be so distracted by everything else happening. Second phase, pretty simple, just the mini dogs and the little jetpacks. They're not too bad, but do not get caught sleeping on this phase at all, or you will take hits. I've lost entire runs to this phase. I haven't died, but I've gotten down to like 1 or 2 HP just from lacking when I was already at 4. So just basically pay attention on this phase, even though it may look easy. Like, don't underestimate it too much. And another little detail about the second phase, you can actually do a secret phase, just damage all the dogs, so you see black smoke, and then boom, the final phase will be different. And you'll have to fight the dog lady and the mini dogs at the same time. They'll be throwing little stuff at you. Final phase is easily the most difficult. It'll start out with some lasers, which should be pretty decent to dodge, since you should be pretty good at controlling the plane at this point and dodging on it. But then the dog grabs the screen and then flips it hard to the right. And this is the friendly place, you'll get thrown completely off. You will just be like, oh, what the fuck? And you'll just get hit most likely. You'll probably die. You'll probably get 1 HP. You'll probably die. But you'll soon realize there is actually a pattern to the madness. The red ones are low, the yellow ones are high. No drugs. But the point is, they're very dodgeable. Through a lot of practice, they're not easy, but through a lot of practice, they are actually dodgeable, and that's all that matters. But this is one of those fights that takes just time to learn, especially the last phase. Like you just need to get good at it. There is no trick. There is no super secret strat. You just need to memorize it. Like there's no secret strat or anything to learn for this boss. You just have to get good at it. Simple as that. But once you do, it's still very rewarding to get past the first, phases, get like no damage, and then like basically almost acing the final phase is very satisfying to get that done. But moving on to the next pick. Esther Winchester. Now, this is probably she has a favorite boss music in the entire DLC. Honestly, in my opinion, at least, like the best personal, fan favorite. But so I may be a bit biased, and like if we were doing a normal ranking, I think she would be number two. But since we're not doing a normal ranking, she's number three. Basically, this whole first phase is almost identical to the original. Just like the only difference is a bit faster. But for most people who played this like normally, they should be pretty accustomed to this whole by now. They should be accustomed to this by now. Like this is definitely the boss I beat that took the shortest amount of time. Because I was just so well adjusted to it. Like there's so you already know what to dodge. Second phase, honestly, I had the most trouble with originally, and even in this, because there's just the projectiles are just faster, a little faster. The only part that felt like actually more difficult. The projectiles felt a little faster, but yes, I know because the weird trajectory of the safes and the weird mechanic where it pulls you closer. But the rest of this boss is almost a cakewalk. I know some people have problems with this part where she turns into a legit sausage, no party, and tries to spit steak at you, which can be really weird. I get that, but once you figure out the patterns, you can get past this like almost very easily. And then there's just the last phase, which is where she turns into a can that shoots out sausage links. Ugh. And this part, I guess she literally turns into a meat monster. Pause. But yeah, not very hard. Dodge the peppers. Best thing, go small when you need it. Stay focused, under control, and land your shots, and you will have her dead in no time. Now we have the next. Well, basically the second hardest boss in the entire DLC, in my opinion. On expert, which is Baltimore Freeze, and it isn't mainly due to this nigga's first phase. This nigga's first phase is utterly ridiculous. Not only is he a dang near impossible target to hit, because of how fast he moves and how small his hitbox is, the snow cones he releases, you basically cannot jump on him, because the little ice things he releases are like a instantly of a one frame. It's a very quick animation, and you will get hit. Like if you're gonna be almost fully locked in and take no damage on that first phase. And don't get cornered or he'll use the whale attack on you. The cards are definitely not that bad, but mix them with some of the icicles, you can't get hit by him when he's running around, just flying around. But the second phase where it really pumps his boss up, he will ring a little bell, ring ding ding, and then a giant snowman will come down, boom, and this one, crowd, like as soon as the first thing you see is, something's about to go down, and something will, because he will turn into a giant snowball and try to run you over or crush you, depending on what one he tries to start with. Then he'll jump back over, and then he'll roll again to the other side. He can do this 3 times back to back. And it can be rough, because when you first start it, you have to learn this second phase. You have to learn it. It's not one of those things you just have to get good at. There is no super secret trick. You just have to learn it. Because these attacks, you need to memorize which one he's going to do and when, or you will die every time on this phase. But then, we're not done yet. But wait, there's more. He calls out these little popsicle things to float down and randomly try and hit you. And they can disorientate you very easily and get you killed. Although they're not exactly hard to dodge. But then the worst part, these stupid icicles he shoots out. And there also are these swords, but they're easy attack to dodge. But these little icicles he shoots out are something else, man. Because they are, ice cubes, not icicles, ice cubes. Because the way they bounce, especially if they're a really big one, it's kind of like a magma cube in Minecraft. You know what that is? If the more they die, the more spawn. So if he releases a really big one, it can go into like 4 smaller ones, and then those smaller ones will go into smaller ones, and the smaller ones will go into even smaller ones. But once you finally learn the second phase, you have the third phase, which for some I've heard different opinions, but most will say it's pretty difficult. He has a few different attacks. This eyeball attack, which is, in my opinion, one of the harder attacks to dodge. You almost have to always go off platform or try and time a roll or smoke dash. If you're playing Miss Chalice or Cuphead or Mugman. But it's very difficult to time. Then we get the good old where spirit will come out of the snowman and he'll spawn smaller snow combs, and these snow combs will go into a diagonal. These spawns like 5 on expert, and they'll go into a diagonal pattern, and then try and hit you. And they're very difficult to dodge. So in my opinion, that's probably the most difficult attack. Just how unpredictable it is. But then he has the last attack was his bucket attack. Well, shoot out random buckets. One of them will be parryable, and then you need to just do your best to dodge the 3 moons that will spawn in all directions. And each bucket will spawn 3 moons, so it can be very chaotic. And that final phase can last a long time, and your hands are probably really sweaty because you made it past the snowman phase. So you're just praying to God that you can make it past it, and then you end up, selling, and you have to do the whole thing over just to try have another attempt. So this boss can be very rough, but throughout intense practice and studying of his, very interesting mechanics, he is doable. He is very, very beatable. So I'm not gonna waste no more time because this guy was very annoying, and move on to the next, the very last boss. Okay, a little bit of context. I was been trying to get to this part forever because that first phase took so long. So my palms were just super sweaty, like literally sweaty, because I was just begging to win this, and I choked really hard, and I had a really funny reaction. So I thought you guys wanted to see it. Anyway, rage aside, this guy, Chef freaking Saltbaker. This guy on normal was already a menace, but he turned into a full-blown demon on expert.
Bro,
This
I want to
first
beat this
phase
boss. Oh
is
my freaking
easily the
god.
hardest in the game. There's no
Look, I'm
competition.
right at the
All
edge.
you
I'm
ingredients you
right
collected
there.
throughout the
I
whole
am
game
right
will be
there.
used to the
Oh my god. I
fullest
am right
extent
there. I'm
against you
right
in this
there.
thing. Instead of there being one fireball, there is two, and all the ingredients are far faster. Especially the lime. The limes were my biggest menace. The limes are the true ops of this game because those things will go at supersonic speed sometimes, and there's nothing you can do about it, and they will just get you killed so many times. In the fireball, you get caught sleeping on those, dead. You have bad timing on the sugar cubes that go up and down, dead. You jump too much in the strawberry phase, dead. You don't kill the cookies, it will jump on you, and legit all five of them, or even sometimes eight. Like they spawn so inconsistently, but the point is, they will jump you and you will be dead. And if you manage to make through all of that with like 1 to 2 HP left, then you have the second phase, which is another beast on itself. Because on normal, this joint is easy. Because although it's a very small space, it's not that cluttered because of the fact that there's not another fireball. There's only one. On expert, there's two fireballs in the middle, and that second phase becomes dang near impossible due to that fact because the space is so cluttered, and the everything else is the same except it's a little faster. But that extra piece of fire is just another beast in itself. My best advice for this boss is just to roll in between the fire. After you see one fire jump, wait for it to land, and then roll in between the other one. Sometimes you do the jump before it lands, but that's the best advice to make it easier for yourself. Everything else, like the leaves, that sometimes they're just BS. The salt shakers themselves are easy to avoid, so that's not too bad. But after you manage to get past this part, which will take some learning, you have the third phase, which is honestly not that bad. Also, if I get some advice for the first phase too, just try to stay as far away from the fire as possible. If you can get on the opposite side of the screen as the fire, then that will make it more easy because the fire will not be disturbing your jumping as much. But basically, the third phase is a cakewalk. Just don't choke it. Literally, like that's literally the only advice. Just don't mess it up, and you should be utterly fine. Fourth phase, like I said, it's not exactly hard at all. It's just that you're so exhausted and ready to be done with this fight. Like you're so ready to be done with this fight. So literally, you just don't want to play it anymore, and you're angry, you're tired, you're scared because you think you're gonna fail. There's a
Come
lot of
on.
emotions
Come
going
on.
on. So you
I'm sweating
basically
so
end
hard. You
up,
don't understand. I'm sweating
just
so hard.
selling
Come
the
on.
bag 90% of the time.
Oh my god.
But it's really not that bad. Just focus and don't
Yes,
force it.
yes,
Take your
yes,
time.
let's
Like literally
go.
take your time.
Take down,
I cannot
homie.
count how
I gotta be
much
a freaking
I've
heart attack. Let's
taken a hit
go.
when the phase first starts, when all the platforms are falling down. But because I wanted to jump too early, I ended up taking unnecessary hits.
Something you want to say? Huh?
So yeah, this is the last
Yeah,
boss of the
don't you laugh. That was
DLC.
hard.
And that's basically this is the end of the guide. I appreciate you guys for watching, sticking through to the end. This was definitely one of the videos that was made on my channel. I can't say one of my favorites because of how difficult it was. But the Cuphead, this game was very fun. I'm very glad I downloaded it. Everyone was telling me, to play it, and so I did, and I was not disappointed one bit. This game was exactly what it needed to be. It lived up to the hype of the first game. I'd say the DLC was honestly better. The bosses were like less RNG based. You should say, or it felt like most of the time more fair, and that definitely helped the feeling. And every single soundtrack in this DLC was fire. I cannot count a single soundtrack in this whole DLC I did not like. Every single one slapped, and that also made things more fun. And this game is very rewarding. Like when you finally do learn that boss and beat it, you just it's just one of the best feelings, because you did this you're all by yourself. Dude, I did beat all these bosses on 2 player with my cousins, but I decided to review it solo because on 2 player they have more health or they feel longer. Pause. Like, you know what I mean. The bosses take longer to beat. Um, yeah, but it's really not that big of a deal. This game was very fun, although I sound very tired because I am. This is a very fun game, though. Don't get it twisted. They did an excellent job, and I just wanted to let me know what you guys think in the comments. Any other games you want to see me play? I'm about to finish Metal Gear Solid now that I'm done with this game. I might release 1 or 2 more videos on this game, but that's it. But yeah, thanks for watching and have a good